Hey, how you doing? My name's Anthony Gray. Welcome to another episode of Grayscale Painting. What you see before you, obviously, is a barn. It's been taped off, masked. All right. Little windmill, and that's about it. Obviously, you don't know the size of the barn because I have the camera zoomed in, but we're gonna zoom out in a second. Before I do that, let's look down to the palette here. All right, I have Dioxazine purple, Cad red, sap green, titanium white, black, burnt umber, and a little bit of magenta. Don't know if we'll go through all of those, but that's what we have. All right, let's look back up here. There. All right, let's put the focus on for 1 second here. Okay, the reason why I zoomed out this far is because this is on 11 by 15 inch watercolor paper. It's double watercolor paper. I got 2 sheets spray glued together, so when it's wet it won't buckle or anything. Okay, when I did the barn, I did it in perspective. Here's perspective on the left and the perspective point on the right. All right, so the barn is actually in 2-point perspective. I've just used a Sharpie marker to, draw out the barn. And even the windmill is in perspective. The little X's here, you see, the braces, everything's in perspective. Going here and going there. Same thing with the barn. And that's pretty much all you see. The reason why I'm doing this tutorial is that I had a pretty good response to a larger barn, and the whole thing was covered in mist and fog. And details were there and everything, but it was just all covered in fog. Very nice effect. All right. So I'm gonna do something similar, but a little more involved this time around. So we'll zoom it back up to what I usually show you guys. Okay. All right. And the barn will be painted in and whatever. After I do what I want to do with the background, the sky will be completely blank, like you see right now. We'll just concentrate on doing the trees and doing the foreground for right now. Okay. All right. So it is. It's not very. It's gonna be a pretty plain painting. It's the effect of mist and fog that I want to get across in a sense of perspective. Okay. So right now we have linear perspective, meaning that the barn is in its perspective zones left and right. Okay, in its placement. Okay. Let's look down at the palette here for a second. I'm going to do 2 sets of trees, but I'm gonna have the sky color do the coloring for the trees. So I'm gonna have to use obviously a neutral color, which would be gray. All right, and I'll do it very basic for this example, for this tutorial. Now I have a round brush, pretty nice size 10 round here. All right, and I'm gonna get out some titanium white. I'll just put it right about here. Now you're gonna need plenty of paint for this. And you're gonna mash the brush, the paint into the bristles, because you don't want to force it. All right. Now that is going to be obviously quite a nice neutral color. I'll get it a little bit lighter, but we're gonna stick with something like this. I should have plenty just to do what I want to do. I'm not going to add any glycerin or anything to the paint. It's just regular, just normal paint. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get some deciduous trees going on here. All right, and we'll kind of dot it in here. Now you want really is a nice tree shape like this. Especially you want your top recognized. Okay. I'll twirl the brush around and all of that stuff. But I want my trees to kind of be a little airy. Just like they come down here a little bit, go, right by the barn. Now as we get lower here, we'll start getting it a little more solid. But for right now, let's get the let's get the trees going here. Just like that. I'm going right past the barn. Just like that. Like I say, down here it'd be a little more solid. But I want to get, now for the windmill here, I'll kind of, gonna paint through it. I'll probably sharpen this back up. I'll just kind of clean it up a little bit as we go through all of this. But the windmill, let's do something with the windmill right now. Let's just kind of cover that. And while it's covered, I'm going to remove some of that paint. Okay. There. Just to know where the windmill is. Okay. Get the airy stuff in there. Let's get some more of this paint before it dries up. Like I said, you would really need plenty of paint to kind of do this. And I'm really concentrating on the outside shape of the trees, not necessarily what's going on the inside. Just like that. Okay, I'm gonna get a little bit more white, a little touch of black. I'm gonna try to maintain that same light color. And I'm just going to block in from the bottom for these guys. Get enough airiness in your trees. Then down below is fairly solid. Pretty solid, pretty strong down here. Down below, solid. As you move upward, it gets a little lighter, a little airier. I want my trees, let's have a little more body to them. Let's add some more up here. Something like that. I want them not to, I don't want them to have a uniform shape, basically. Let's get one a little high up here. Just like that. Okay, that's cool. That'll work. That'll work just fine. Okay. Like I said, I really want to have two different types of trees. Okay, so we're going to establish some aerial perspective, even with the trees. All right. Okay, we're going to still work with this gray. I'm going to go a little bit with the black here. A little darker, just a shade darker than what you have, because the cheese tree are a little closer. All right, I'm going to have to once again, make plenty of this. These trees are a little darker because they're a little closer. All right. And once again, I would need plenty of paint for this, because I pretty much want to do the pine trees in a lighter touch. Okay, and this is going to kind of establish our foreground. So as you're looking down here, okay, that should be enough. Basically, I need a light touch just to establish pretty much our foreground, or our trees here. So we get some narrow pines here, and I'm just going to touch. See this? Just like that. Very thin, but I'm going to establish ground now with this fella. Just where the ground will kind of be here with this guy. And we'll pop in some pines. These are kind of lean, on the lean side. Like I say, our cloud cover will help us with these pines. Now when I feel that I need more paint, I'm just gonna gather some more paint. Now, this is, remember, even though this is a darker gray, it's still a neutral color. Okay, we'll put another. We'll put one right in here like this. And even though I'm making these pines the way I'm making them, I'm gonna still try to maintain some type of realism to these pines, because one, I'm gonna get them a little closer than I normally would. Kind of helps with the realism there. Oh, we'll put a nice one up here, even taller than the windmill, just like that. So hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here. See, he's a nice sized fellow. And I'm gonna go a little bit behind the windmill here, just like that. Don't worry, I'm gonna bring all of that back. Okay, I will. Put one a little shorter here, just like that. Just like so. So there's obviously two types of trees in the back. And once again, this is just gonna establish distance. You follow me? Okay. We'll get pretty dark here, just like that. Just establishing some groundwork here. I can add a little tiny bit of water to loosen up this paint. That's fine. It's not medium, so it's not going to prolong the drying time too bad. I work with heavy body paints also, and it does help. Go to the side, then I'll just kind of tap them in there, just like that. So I just like interesting shapes going on when I do these. Put a little one right there. We'll have another lengthy one there. Get more paint. This procedure, this technique, it just requires more paint and a light touch. I'm not really pouncing that hard to get these patterns. And that's really it for that. All right. And basically that's all I wanted. Okay. Let's establish some foreground, because you think that this painting is going to be totally black and white, and it's not. You got to have your kind of natural color going on here. Okay. All right. Oh, let's work with I'm going to work with a larger brush in the color here. Okay. All right. I know we have this gray, and it's fine. It's cool. I got fairly simple colors. I'm going to just put this green into the gray right on top of that gray. It's all right. Once again, I'm just blocking in colors right now. This is just a block in. Okay, it's gonna block in a little color. I'll use a little bit of water to loosen up the paint. I'll pop a little bit of black in there, gray it up a little bit. There we go. This should be more than enough to cover the ground. Ready? And here we go. Let's go down behind. Let's kind of block all of that in. Just want to kind of give it a little bit of tuft for look like some grass or whatever up around in here. We can always come back and correct all of this if I don't think it looks right, but I think it will be fine. All right, then we basically just kind of really block it all in. We're just basically blocking in color right in here. All this, block it in. Block it all in. This is a little water mixed in with the paint. It's okay. Now, from right there, let's get a little dark. I guess I'll go with a little bit of the brown. Let's go with a little brown in that green. Probably a little bit of red too. And a slight touch of black in there. We're going to take this mixture. We're going to go from the bottom, right up in here. Go right in the bottom, block it in. And then I'll marry that up towards the top to to whatever degree I want all this shading to be for right now. And if I don't feel it's dark enough, I can make it darker, and I will. It can do to be a little darker. Add a little more black, and let's get some green in that black. No water, all paint this time, and we'll just kind of pop some of that love in just in here, a little higher. So we just establish a nice dark foreground in there. All right, just build it right up there. Build up that dark foreground. Make it a little higher on one side than the other. Just like that. Okay. Like I say, this is just it's all being blocked in. That's it. Okay. You're already, just by this, establishing aerial perspective, believe it or not. I'm just gonna mellow out some of that transition there. Bring it a little bit up into the lighter green, a little. Just like that. And I want the bouncy, I want the little woodsy patterns. Okay. That establishes your wild grass. Believe it or not, I really don't have to mess with any of this per se. Just the way it looks right now is fairly decent. Once again, it's farmland, wild grass. It's not exactly manicured. You follow me? Okay. So we'll start, but we got to establish a little bit of color and stuff in this to to really sell it. Okay. All right. Oh, let's do my little favorite fan brush here. I'll put it right here on this screen. We're going to establish some cutesy little highlight patches in there somewhere. All right. Look down below here. Now, obviously, I'm doing this on a paper plate. The paint's pretty much wet still. I'll just take it. I'll just remove the excess paint so I can have a nice clean surface. Clean with quotes to do this. Okay, that's good enough right there. All right. We're going to get a little bit of yellow. Now, yellow is very transparent by itself, so it has to be beefed up a little bit with a little white. Just like that. Okay. Maybe a couple of hairs of green in there. Just like that. And this might do. All I need is a little highlight color. Okay. Where am I going to put it? Well, we can just kind of skip a few up in here like this. And I'm just touching it and just going upward a little. Don't make them toy soldiers. Something like that. And we'll put a patch in here. You always got to have a main patch somewhere. Okay. The rest can kind of float around somewhere. But see that? Looks like little bits of sun hitting that there. Let's go over here. Let's put a little bit of that love over here on this side like that. Doesn't have to be necessarily even. Okay. Just like that. You want to skirt some of that brightness into the dark. Just make it sparse. Don't do it too many times. We'll put a little bit of something hitting in that corner like that. I probably won't bother it any more than that. That's more than fine. Basically, you just gotta let it dry. All right. One thing about acrylic paint, because of its drying time, you can do a video and actually do it in real time for it to dry. Okay. All right. So I'm checking it out. I'm looking at it. Basically, what I'm seeing is pretty cool. I don't need to add anything else at this present time until we go further on. All right. Now, remember this windmill? Let's pull into the windmill for a second. I think we're good right about here. acrylic dries ridiculously fast. Now I'm gonna freehand this because, you know, I pretty much know where it is. All right, I can tighten that up a little bit better. There we go. As you can see how fast this stuff dries. All right, like I said, I know where things are on the windmill. Okay, and let me get my rag here. I do this a lot. Protect myself here from that paint. Okay, and we'll start, you know, sketching in our little details here. I kind of know where I'm at with this, so I can see the faint lines. This part of it is in front of us here. There. See, we got this guy on the side here. We'll strengthen this. Right about, we'll put him down here. Like that. He comes a little bit ahead there. Then we'll do the rest. Sketch it right in. Like that. All right, that's about all we need for him. Well, maybe a little bit of strengthen this right here, just like that. Strengthen some of that there. All right, that's about enough for that. That's all we need for that there. All right. As this is drying, because I use no glycerin, it's just either the paint out of the tube, or it's just mixed with a little bit of water and it's starting to dry. Okay, all right, let's remove the barn. I did the barn in pencil, then I used the Sharpie for the rest. Okay, and I'm doing a pull lift method so I don't wreck anything. And as you see, it looks like a black and white photo as of right now. There she is. Okay. The barn will be colored pretty simply. I'm going to use probably a little bit of a glazing method for the barn. I'll zoom in on the barn also. Okay. I'm not necessarily going to remove the green. I guess I'll work on that roof first. I want the roof to be a little bit on the red side. So right on top of the green, I'll just put some of this magenta in there. Probably a little bit of black. Let's darken that magenta a little bit. Okay. And I'm gonna use a little bit of water. I say I'll just glaze the color on this fella. Okay, here we go. Ready? We'll just kind of glaze some love on this guy. I'm just using water. Don't try to make it super picture perfect. It's like a worn out barn. And obviously this is the first pass. Using water with acrylic, it can be streaky. Okay. I'm using a brush that maintains a pretty decent point, if you haven't noticed already. Keeps a pretty sharp edge. So basically all I gotta do is just touch it. maneuvering this fella. All these streaks that you see, I'm gonna keep a few of those. It just adds character to this dude. And if anything, make sure you just color the whole thing in. Alright, okay. His little friend in the back, he gets the same color, gets the same treatment. And basically I'm just glazing this stuff on there. Now obviously this is the first color, so I'll probably mix a little more green to give me some nice little patches of color interest in this just to keep it interesting. All right, let's go with a little bit of green. It's the opposite of red, this color opposite. Okay, and then we'll just kind of maybe glaze a little, see, stuff like that, little just interesting little pockets of color. Make it a little beat down, just like that. Go right up to the edge on a few of these here. Okay, same thing with this fella, or you can just make this fella just, because he's sitting behind the house there, so you can just pat on some darker color there for him. All right, up to you what side you want bright and what side you want shaded. I think I'll have this side, the shaded side. Okay, so I'm going into my umber. I'm gonna just put it right here, right by the red, right by the green. It's deep brown here. I might just mess around with just this color. I might make it a little darker. Let's add a little bit of black to that, and I mean a little. Okay, there's water in this because I want to keep some of that woodwork there, that little artwork I put in there. I'll keep some of that. All right, you ready? Of course you are. So this will be the dark part of the barn, right up in here. And like I said, this is water mixed in with the paint. I'm keeping the color scheme relatively simple because of what we're going to do afterward. And once again, I'm using water with the paint because it dries just about almost immediately. Let's turn the brush around. I got more paint on the other side. Something like so. That's cool. We'll add some of that right here for this fella. Okay. Let's play around with that. Let's get some color on the edge here. And we'll just kind of tap that color into the front of this fella right here. Just like that, right across the top here. All right, something like so. All right, we're gonna take that color, what I got left, look down here, and we're gonna add a little bit of yellow to it. I got paint on, the same color on the brush, but we're adding yellow. Add a little more yellow, just like that. Now I want you to look at this color and look at the color next to it. All right. Obviously, I don't have much to paint on that side, obviously, but we're going to establish its lighter side just like this. We'll add a little bit of fun to this too. All right. Right now, the most important thing is just to block all that color in. That's it. Just block it. You guys can do the very same thing. It doesn't matter if it's a barn, a tractor, 57 Chevy. It's a technique I'm really showing you than anything else. Okay, that's all. Let's take a smaller brush for the barn doors. I want the same color, just a smaller brush. So we'll take a if I can find it quickly enough, I'll just take a round brush here. And we'll just add some of that color. This should be enough for that. Just right in here. Just block it in real fast. I'm not worried about the frame. I just want to block in the doors a little bit there. I'll take a little bit of red. I'm mixing it in with the color that I just previously used here. And we can add a little bit of shadow or whatever right into there. Just like that. Okay, all right. We'll add a little bit of that up here too. Block that in. All right, something like so. Let's take a little bit of brown, a little bit of the dioxazine purple here, a little more dioxazine. And we'll darken this window area here. Turn my brush around. I got paint on the other side. Get a little bit of water, go back into my dioxazine, right? And we'll just add a little bit of that right here. I'm keeping the color scheme fairly simple for the barn. You'll see why in a minute. You will see why. Okay, that's fine, just like that. Let's take a little dry brush, and we'll take the same round brush, same colors, why not? And we'll just take the side of the brush and we'll just kind of, see this? Add a little shadow, love up in there. Just a little bit, especially around the roof area here, right up on the edge. Not too much. Just kind of rub some of that in there, like that. All right. Okay. Let's work on that silo real fast. We'll take a little bit of dioxazine purple, a little bit of red, and just get some of that brown in there. Look down here with me, right in here. Probably a little more, a little more brown in there. Now I'm gonna take this weird color that I just made and add a small bit of white, because it turns it kind of a mauvey, weird, kind of a gray color. All right, let's get some water, loosen that color up a little bit. You still have this somewhat glaze this too. Okay. All right. This should be okay for that color. Ready? Remember, this side will be the darker side right in here. Let's get it as close as I can to that edge. Even though this is a little tiny barn, I got paint there further up on the brush, so I'll borrow some of that paint and drag it down. Just like this. Okay, I'm gonna rinse off my brush. That paint's still somewhat a little bit dry. See, we're gonna remove some of that paint, so some of those marks can show. See that? That's what water on your brush will do with the acrylic. Okay, I'm just wiping off the brush. I'm gonna get a little more water. I'm just removing some of that paint. See? Just remove it. Look at that. Just like so. Just remove some of it. And I'm just bringing it to the other side. Just like that. All right. A little more water. A little bit of that color. More water than that color. I'm gonna go on the lighter side here. You see? Now, I'll establish the lighter side here, right? Which is fine, that's cool. It's more water than paint. Let's go back into our darker purple-ish mix. And we get a little bit of black. Get some water on that. Right here. We'll just darken it, just like that. Look at that. See this? Let's just darken that half there. Give it a little darkness around that edge there. I'm wiping off my brush. And with a dry brush, we just kind of blend it a little bit. Just like that. And you just leave it be. Okay. That's all. Leave it be a little bit. Let's get a little bit of yellow. And we'll add it in to that little brown mix there. Okay. Top of the silo here. Alright. Now that I established that, okay, we get a little bit of purple. Just a little bit. We'll get, because it's the opposite color, we'll just pop some of that right up in here like that. I'm rinsing off my brush. Paint's still a little bit wet. You can play around with it now. See this? Play around that color. Look at this. Instant fading. Instant. See that? It's like that. Okay, let's get a little bit of brown. This is all paint, the brown there. It's going to mix in with the color, with a little bit of moisture that's on there. See that? Just kind of, you're just manipulating, playing around with it there, left and right, left and right. Just like so. Keep playing with it. There we go. Get rid of that sharp edge. There. You follow me? All right. Your barn is pretty much done for right now. Okay. All right. We're gonna move on. Now let's draw back a little bit. See what we got so far. Okay. So this is what we have now. All right. There. And we'll sharpen it. Okay. So this is what where we're at. Let's incorporate this barn, this grass into the barn. Let's go with a smaller fan brush right now. Let's go back into our sap green. I'll put the sap green right here, right on the top of this brown. Look down here. Okay. And we'll get a little bit of brown. We'll put the brown in there. And we just want to incorporate this into the barn a little bit. So you put some grasses in there, just like that. Okay. Make it part of the picture, painting. Just like that. All right. Make it part of the painting. Okay. All right. Let's go back into our yellow. Why am I going back into the yellow? I'll put it on top of the green. It's okay right now. And get a little titanium white there, because we have to strengthen those highlights. Make them a little brighter than they should be. There's a reason for it. You'll see in a second. Okay. Pretty much the same areas where you were, you're gonna brighten them a little bit. Just like so. There's a reason why. I'm going over the very same areas. Okay. Don't make them look like little soldiers. Stagger them a little bit. But stay in the same area. Bring it up around here a little. We got a few down here. See little patches of sun that's kind of stagger them out there. We got a couple here. Got a couple patches in there. Just like that. Yeah, all right. I don't really have to outline anything else. What we have here is fine. And we'll wait for it to dry. It's going to get very interesting after this point. You're still establishing your depth and all that good stuff. Now, here's one of the sad benefits of a paper plate. Obviously, a paper plate has wax on it. Look down here. So I'm scraping away what I can. Okay. And it is coming off. Now what's on there, it's not going to be, it's not going to take part of any other colors. As you see, it's pretty much looking like a mess. All right. Okay. What I'm going to do is now apply some glycerin to this, because this is an acrylic painting. I want to portray fog, at least the first layer of it. Okay, but I want the fog to appear to, it's going to blanket all of this, but it kind of fades somewhere around in here. So it blankets, it only goes so far, and then it just kind of fizzles out. All right, so that's what I want to do for right now. So the whole thing won't be blanketed. It'll blanket and maybe stop somewhere around here. It's probably around where the a little bit breaks of the sun is hitting the grass. So we'll stop it somewhere around in here. All right. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. Let's take a little bit of glycerin. Once again, to do this part, the painting has to be completely dry. Now, I only highlighted this part of the grass. Now I know the middle part might still have a little bit of dry wetness, wet spots here. It's thick, but the fog won't go much past that, and it's fine. Okay. Vegetable glycerin just helps to keep the acrylic paint moving, and it keeps it wet a little longer. Now this is medium. Now it takes a little while for this stuff to dry. Okay, glycerin, when you apply it with acrylic. Okay, so just be mindful of that. Now, here we go. Right over the barn, right over the lighthouse, right over everything. That's why everything has to be dry. Okay. A little bit of this stuff goes a very long way. Please keep that in mind, please. I'm only going to bring this stuff down by where the shine of the grass is. That's it. So down below here, it's dry, not here and above. You follow me? Okay. All right. That's all I need. Just that little bit is it. That's it. Thin coat of it. Okay, let's look down to the palette here. I'm gonna wipe this glycerin off my brush. Now water cuts through glycerin like a hot knife through butter. Okay, all right. Okay, let's go into our dioxazine purple. Let's put it right here. We're gonna go into our white. And we're gonna tap a little black into that, kind of gray it up a little bit. Get a little more white. Now there's glycerin on here already, so I don't have to be heavy-handed with this color. You feel me? A little touch of black. Once again, I'm gonna gray it out a little bit. If you feel you put too much on, you can actually wipe it off. Okay, let's zoom in a bit. Let's watch what happens. All about mood and atmosphere now. You ready? I know, scary, right? I know it is. I know it is. Now remember, it's gonna fade out down below there. Okay? All right, I know that looks crazy. I know it does. I know it does. But we're gonna kind of blend that right out. I got a large mop brush here. And basically all I'm doing, what you see me doing, is just getting the street marks out. That's all. And we're gonna manipulate and play with this a while until we get it nice and smoothened out. It doesn't necessarily have to be even, but we're gonna smooth out those streak marks. Okay. Especially down below there. Now down below, I'm probably gonna use a smaller brush because I want to fade it out. Remember, right down here. I'm gonna borrow some of that color, bring it right down, because it's gonna fade out right just past, just above that light grass there. Let's borrow some from up here and bring it down here, just like that. I can actually use a little bit more. I'm getting some from the brush itself. There, see that? Put it right in there, fade it out. Look at this. See that? That's what I'm talking about. I'm just using my brush, my mop brush itself. I'm bringing some of that in there, just like that. Getting some more, right from the brush, right from the brush. Put it right in there. See this? Look at that. See how it's looking? I'll take it now. This is why your painting has to be completely dry when you do this. But look, now you got an overcast sky. You feel me now? Follow? I can still manipulate, turn it around, do whatever. This is what that glycerin will do. Okay. Nice little overcast there. But we're not done yet. But like I say, the glycerin is only going so far. Okay. Pretty cool. I got it. See the trees? See the deciduous trees back there? Okay, you can barely see them, but they are back there. All right. The deciduous trees are back there. Your pines are back there. The barn is back there. All right. Okay. Things are going to get a little bit interesting. A little bit. I'm just going to go back into my titanium white. I need to put a little more white there on the palette here. That's a little dot more. Okay. Now, we've established a little bit of the purple type of haze that's going on there. Okay, all right. Let's clean off this brush here for 1 second. I'll be right with you. Okay. Let's establish some stuff in the foreground here. We essentially got this fairly taken care of, pretty much. Well, actually, before I do that now, let's get another batch of fog in there. All right, let's get a little, and I mean a little bit of white. We'll put it in here in this purple stuff. It's okay. And what I'm going to do with this brush is take off some of that paint on my brush. I'm patting it on my little rag here. Okay, and we're just gonna establish maybe around in here. But look, watch, look. Just kind of blend it in there. Just a little back and forth action in there, like that. I'm taking some off of my brush, and we'll just kind of move it around. We'll fade it. Just like that, kind of come across a little bit. Just like that, real soft. Come up here a little bit. Have it come on across, snake across there a little bit. See this? Get a little bit more of that color. We'll snake it on across. Yes. bring it up in here a little bit, just like that. Now, up to you, because it is difficult. I'm not gonna over blend this. Just a little bit. Just kind of move it around. It's brighter. See, just a little bit. So you got a little bit of atmosphere going on in there, just like so. And don't bother it anymore. Leave it alone. That's fine. So you got a little bit of something hanging around there, back there. Okay, we're not done yet though. We're not done yet. Let's take a 1/4-inch brush. I think we can put let's get some brown here. I'll put it right into the purple. It kind of doesn't matter right now. Some brown, a little touch of black in that brown. A little more brown. Okay. More paint than anything else. Okay. So let's establish something in the foreground here. Maybe right from here. Yeah, we'll put a big one right here. Make him a substantial size, just like that. So we got a post right there. He is of good size there, just like that. All right, let's get some more brown. Get some more black. Mix it in there. Any post after that will be slightly smaller. We'll put him right up around in here, something like this. He's a little more on the lean side. We'll put him maybe right about there. Okay. Just make him real rough looking. We'll put another one right about here. A little shorter. We'll kind of keep it moving. He's a little thinner. We'll put him right here. Okay. We'll put another one. We'll put a crooked one right here. He's a little shorter though. Let's get some more paint. Let's kind of deepen him a little bit. All right there. All right. And maybe even maybe a tinier one right here, right about down there like this. Okay. Okay, remember you got that big one right here. All right. Okay. Let's take a little white. Mix it in with that brown we just had. Okay. So it turns it a little brownish gray. And I'm gonna wipe some of this stuff off on my rag here. Okay, and we're gonna start to kind of add a little. See this? Just little highlights in there like that. Just like so. All right. Get a little bit more. I'm just using the sharp edge of the brush and a couple taps there, especially on the end. You stagger them a little bit as it goes toward the middle. So you're just letting everybody know where the highlights are on this. If it seems a little bit bright, don't worry, as it dries, it flattens out. As you get further away, some of them are just lines. Okay, and that's all they are. Just like that. You see? You see how everything establishes and pushes stuff back further and further? Okay, all right. Let's get a script liner. Not a round brush. Get a script liner, something pretty thin, which is pretty much what I'm looking for. I can't seem to find a script liner, but I do have a micro one, little tiny fella. This will be perfect. I'm getting water, some white, Now what you're about to do is it will require a little bit of water. Alright, especially with a micro brush. You have to get your paint to an inky consistency here. Plenty of water and a fairly steady hand. Okay, alright, so let's establish some wire here, like that. You probably have to dip in with each pass. It all depends. All depends on you, really, how much you want the dip to be. It's up to you. You can have this one kind of fall down somewhere. Up to you, really. And just think about the perspective, okay? You put in as many as you want. Up to you. I can have it come here and just go right off the page. Boom. When I feel it getting a little tacky, that means it just needs more water. This is a really little rigger brush, a little thin one there. And we can just have him kind of fall in the grass down there like that. All right, okay. Clean it off fairly well. Let's do something, now I'm gonna do something kind of comic bookish. Let's take a little bit of purple if I got some left. I do got a little bit of white in the purple. And we'll just give the shadow side a little love right up in here. Just a little bit, just like that. See this? So you got some residual light going on. You might not even notice it. You might not even see it, but it's there. Don't make it too obvious. So it's just a little bit of residual shadow on the other side, a little bit there. You don't have to add it to every little one, but you know, just a little bit of something here on the side, just, you know, just like that. You know, something kind of cutesy there. Okay, let's add some tall grass. I do have a little bit of sap green left. So I'm getting my script liner. Look down here. Here's the script liner going into my sap green. Okay, going into my white. We'll brighten it up here. And we're gonna put some long grass in there. Now, I got the color I like. You just have to soak it with some water. You gotta get it to an inky, very inky consistency. Okay, I'm twirling my brush around. That's what you see me doing here. All right, let's come up here. Let's put some of these right up front. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's put all that in focus right there. Okay, here we go. Put some of that long grass in there like that. Have some kind of go downward like that. See? Get more. You want it to kind of really be powerful. Put it right in front of that post. You follow? And we'll slap a couple of them bright ones on in here like this. Put it in little patches. Have them going in other directions there. Just like that. Now, just be mindful. Just be kind of careful. They get shorter and shorter and whatnot. You can put some up here. Let's get some more water. It's starting to, when it starts to break apart like that, you're just running out of water. So we'll put some tall ones in here like this, kind of patch them, crisscross them. Put some tall ones in there like that. And what you're doing, even with the blades of bright grass, is that you're throwing everything further back. Get more water. Get plenty of water for this, because you want your grass, your blades of grass to be crisp. Okay, just like that. I can pop some like coming off the panel like that. All right. That's like that. I'm just getting more water. Let's move it over a little bit. We'll pop some up in here. Just like that. And we'll kind of curl it. See? Curl some there. You put it in as many as you prefer. Let's draw back a little bit. There. It just brings me right to the end there. Yeah. Have some come off the side right here. Just have it come off the side like that. See? There. Vary the sizes on them. I'm just dipping into more water here, because I know I'm pretty close to being done here. But there you go. The more you put in there, the more real it would look. If you have different size liner brushes that thicker blades of grass, you're just gonna need more water for them. That's all, to get this characteristic look to them. All right. You see that? Okay. Old school way here. Okay. I want some brighter fog. I'm going to go into my titanium white just a little bit, and I mean a very little bit. I'm just going to dip it on my brush here. Okay. Ready? Of course you're not. Camera's not there. Okay, let's move her over here. Okay. We can still add a little more mist, a little more fog right up and around it in here. Just like this. Very smooth, very smooth. So you just need a light touch there. Very little bit of white. A little bit. Okay. I'll stop it right around in this point here. You don't have to go any further than that. We can come past it. Go past that post. Go past the post. Right up in here. We'll thin that out a little bit there. Be very careful. Very thin. Very thin. Just like that. It has to be a little on the brighter side, you know, it has to be white. Okay. Very thin. Little tiny bits of white. And just rub. Rub it, rub it, rub, 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 rub. Just like this. Tiny, tiny, and I mean really tiny. Wipe some off of on your rag or something. Bring some of that up there, but just keep going across. I'm accustomed to doing it, so just keep rubbing it, rub it right away. Just like that. Just little bits here and there. Okay. I don't think I really need to add anything else to this. So let's just do this. Let's go back, and let's put her right in the screen there. I'll straighten her up. Yeah, I'll keep it like that. You should be able to see that fine. All right. So that's what she's looking like. You got your grass up here in the front. You got your posts. Okay, now I can actually brighten those posts up a little better. A little bit. Not too much. I can give it a little bit of love though. Just to make them stand out just a little bit. Just a little touch. Like that. Just to kind of highlight them a little bit stronger. And I'm just touching it with the palette knife a little bit. It kind of lets you know that they're actually out in front of the fog a little. I have to be careful with the one that's got a little fog covering it, so I'll just give it a little bit of something right around in here, if I can here. I just gotta be careful. All right, let's put my name on it and let's see what it looks like in a frame. It is my pleasure to do these for you. I appreciate you taking the time to watch these. I hope this technique helps you out and you would experiment with some of your own projects. And if you look at the tones and the values, it's already look like storm clouds or whatever already, and I didn't add nothing but just that color and the brush. Okay, glazed it out down here. We added some white mist in there just to kind of flavor it up a little bit. And well, there you have it. I didn't have to really add any like tree or whatever. The posts are fine to establish its distance. Okay, you still got the light and the dark side on the barn, even though it's covered and shrouded in mist. Okay, you even get the little bright patches. Okay, so you know the sun kind of burns all that away, and you know, but you can see why I didn't add really too much detail or whatever to the barn, because I knew I was gonna cover it. And as you can see with the gray, because the gray being a neutral color, the deciduous trees are back there, but obviously you see the stronger pines in front, but the trees are back there. The deciduous trees are back there. All right, so you can take this and you know, make any type of scene that you want. The fog is going through a few of the posts, but not through all of them. It's just wisping across. All right, and all that good stuff. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you used this technique. And I shall see you when I see you. Take care. Peace.